Well, thank you so much for staying with Daybreak. We're getting into that discussion on market research, and joining me now is Didier Truchot, the Ipsos Global President. Thank you so much for making time for us.
Good morning.
It's good to see you. I know you've been in this industry for over 50 years, since 1968. We appreciate you making time for us. So let's just start by the basics. For the sake of our viewers, what is market research?
So market research is an activity which is pretty sizable. $80 billion every year are spent by private companies, public institutions to buy market research services, meaning informations about the society, about the markets, about the people, information which are supposedly to be right, and also insightful. So meaning because we are in a world which is transforming very rapidly, and it's important not just to have a good measure, but also to understand what people are doing.
This is a significant amount, $80 billion. Some of it is invested in Africa. Why the interest in Africa? What have you seen generally? Is there a shift? Because you've been in this for 50 years. Is there a sudden shift into interest in Africa, and why is that?
Yeah, as I am French, in France we say, why not? Why not Africa? A lot of money is spent all over the world because, of course, we are one planet. We are not necessarily one market, but we are one planet, and it's, I believe, very important for everybody, including African institutions, but also companies which are working from outside to better understand the African people, the African society, and thanks to that, to act, let's say, in an efficient way, whatever are the goal, whatever it's to sell a product or to develop some, let's say, good practices, for instance, in terms of education, health, public services, or whatsoever. And
there's a lot of argument about that, on who exactly benefits from this data. Is it the people or the capitalists?
Well, fortunately or unfortunately, I don't know, all these information are mostly owned by the people who are paying to get this information. So it's we are talking about, once again, about international institutions like the World Bank, for instance, which is pretty active as a client, but also any corporation, any individual, if you have the money, who wants to know something about what people are doing.
And from you're the global president for Ipsos. There's always this perception that whoever pays the piper calls the tunes. How do you ensure that the research that you give is solid and it's not questioned?
Okay, so we are Ipsos is a company which is operating in 90 different countries. We have 5,000 clients, and our largest clients, by the way, are important governmental agencies or large corporations. And what we give to them, what we offer to them, is an access to what we call the true understanding of the society, the market, and the people. True means truth, meaning that we have the techniques, the capabilities to be sure that whatever we measure it with accuracy, and whatever we think, we analyze, we do it at the best of what we can do to make them, let's say, secure, comfortable with our conclusions.
And what about the timing of the research? Is that a strategy for maximum impact, or can it sometimes be swayed by perception and decision making?
No, I think that there are different kinds of research. Some of them are, I would say, ongoing. So you measure something on a daily basis. So, for instance, as an example, in Italy we are measuring the level of employment of the Italian population, and this is a daily work. And of course, then the information is released every month and every quarter, every year. So, but there are also some work which have to be done for a specific reason, and that is more based on a need which is there. So, for instance, we are working for the World Cup, which will be organized in Qatar in 2022, and that's a specific event, and we are working with the organizations which are following that to be sure that it's well done.
So there's certain research that is actually very impactful, like the ones in terms of number of people who are employed and unemployed, but then there comes political research. Isn't that where now there's a bit of where is the balance of error on that? Because sometimes when you talk about, say, Brexit, for example, and then you measure that and a certain result that comes out is different from the one that comes out at the end of the show.
What we do is based on some very specific, let's say, sciences, statistics, for instance, and also we are using some technology. Does that make us perfect? Of course not. And one of the reasons why it's not perfect is that public opinion is a dynamic movement. So, for instance, when you release that something will happen, maybe it will change the mindset of some people who then say, we don't want it to happen, so we will mobilize themselves and we will change the output of, for instance, an electoral process. So we know that. And it's a challenge for us, because maybe we have been right 1 week before the election, but we are not necessarily right the day of the elections. We are working on it and try to understand how we can make it work better. But overall, what we do is very impactful, of course, of anything that the politicians may do or may not do, because they know at least what is going on at the time where they have to make some decisions.
What do you think is the implications and the impact of big data in market research space?
I'd say it's very important, because we are in a world where there are more and more data, there are more and more information which are provided by the digital network, for instance, by Google or whatsoever, or by the loyalty card program, so there are many kinds of information which are there. These informations, of course, can create I would say an opportunity to know better. But for the time being, it's a little bit, we are all struggling a little bit, because we don't know exactly how to interpret it, how to use that. So we are all working on developing some statistical models, some new way to look at all this information, to put them together, to make them more clear, more coherent, and so to give to our clients a better knowledge on what is going on.
Okay. Let's get away from all the serious stuff and talk about you, for example. Why have you been doing this for the last 50 years? What inspires you to do that?
Probably because I did not have any other idea. No, I like what I'm doing, because I've been lucky. I came to that industry by chance or by accident, I would say. But it's a fascinating work, because you are able to provide to your clients some specific information. So you are here in Citizen TV. If I can tell you who is watching this program, how people are happy with what you are doing, how you can improve your performance and so on, I believe that you'll be interested. So if you engage people with something that to meet their interest, it's a good business. It's a good business, not just because it's a business, but more importantly because it gives me the opportunity to talk with you, to relate to you, and to exchange.
But what most people don't even know, that Ipsos is not just about market research. You do CSR as well. You're involved in other.
No, but that's more on the corporate side. We strongly believe that. Any company, any organization need to do something to help the society. So, for instance, we have a foundation which is helping the young people among the refugees to have a better and easier access to some specific programs on education, because we know that these young people who may are traveling without their family, they are very vulnerable, and if they can be taken by some institution, learn the language of the country in which they are, and so on and so on. So this is the beginning for them to have a better life. So we are doing that, as we are very also active in some activities where we, for instance, are trying to to travel a little bit less, to decrease our carbon emission, or we are using, we have a policy and we will prohibit the usage of plastics in our company, and so on and so on. So we think that it's part of our mission, not just to provide some good services to our clients, but also to be good citizen in the societies in which we are working.
And what do you see as the future of Ipsos now? Give me maybe 10 years or something like that. Earlier on you were joking and telling me that you should work until you're 90. But
yeah, but I read this morning an article in the French press saying that we should consider working longer, which I can understand. So I believe that the need for information is there and will be there forever. We are in a world which is changing very rapidly. The people's behavior are changing. We are, of course, in a world which have its risks, and for instance, everything which is about climate change and so is very worrying. But at the same time, you are in a world where there are more people who are educated, where there are more people who are communicating together, who are traveling, who are visiting the other part of the world and so on. And so in this world, there is a lot of, I would say, new challenges, but there are also a lot of new opportunities. So for Ipsos, to be at the heart of providing the right set of information, to provide some element of truth in what people knows about the society and the markets, is something which is a mission, and this mission will be still there in 10 years from now, maybe with different tools, with different protocols, but the mission will be there.
All right. And it's not every day we find the Ipsos Global President with us, so I'll give you a chance for a parting shot. Whoever is watching this interview today, what would you like them to take home? Like a perception change toward market research? Or what would you want them to hear from this conversation?
Sorry, it's a difficult question. There is something which for me is very important. Once again, we are exposed to many informations. Some of them are absolutely right, some of them are absolutely wrong, some other needs to be analyzed and understood. So I would like for everybody to clearly understand it's not because we have a number that this number is right. It's not because there is an idea on the social media that this idea is right and so on. So let's work on all of that. Let's be open to the information, but in a way in which we can in some ways filter the right information and the wrong information.
So sift through the information that you get.
Absolutely.
All right. Thank you so much for coming in. Didier Truchot, Ipsos Global President, with us talking about market research and how important it is in the African region generally. We're taking a quick break here on Daybreak. When we come back, we'll just wind up and take you to Nakuru, I believe, for a quick update. And then we'll call it a day. See you in just a bit.